Hi everyone, how's it going? If you guys didn't know already, um, Reform has its first mayor, and ironically, it's a woman. It has its first mayor in Runcorn in the UK. I believe Runcorn is in Cheshire. I'm not sure. Not sure. My geography isn't what it used to be. But yes, Runcorn has its first Reform MP. Britain has its first Reform MP. Now, um, I did foresee that this was going to happen some years back. I did foresee all of it. Um, and I have said that gangstalking has helped facilitate this outcome, and it has. Now, things are definitely going to get worse because whilst white people in this country have been led by their hatred, and some brown people as well, and even some black people, because bigotry, as we all know, is not a monolith, right? So there are bigots in this country who have voted for reform and who will continue to vote for reform or for far right parties, believing that if they restrict access to services for immigrants and for vulnerable people, that somehow that they'll be spared. But the one thing that they keep forgetting is that from a status point of view, even with white privilege, these white people are still closer to being in the same position as black or brown people than they are to the rich white people whose hatred that they just eat up. Nigel Farage already proved that he didn't give a damn about anyone in this country, white or black, when he triggered the Brexit vote right along with David Cameron, right? He already proved that he didn't give a shit about this country. And when he lied about the 350 million pounds that would go back into the NHS is now like drastically underfunded. Like it was already underfunded, but now it's drastically underfunded. And we ain't seen the 350 mil anywhere. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage has his Brexit. And now, he's quite a bit amount richer because he made a bet on Brexit, £1,000 bet on Brexit, and he got paid off of that bet. That's how much Nigel Farage cares about the UK and cares about the white people in it. He literally, he literally bet on the country's demise that he caused. It's because of Brexit that we have more expensive imports and exports. It's because of Brexit that our public services are being crippled financially. And things are already bad. Now, because of hatred and because, people in this country, especially racist people in this country, don't learn their lesson. Now they're voting for the same people who fucked the country over because of the most suicidal self-destruction. That's what it is. It's suicidal hatred. It's hatred on a level where these people clearly want to die. They don't just want black and brown people to die. They want to die too. That's what nobody realizes. When it gets to that level where you keep voting for people that you know have screwed over the country and have lied to you in front of your face, when it gets to that level, for voting for people that you know have killed you, killed your communities, and are going to keep doing it, at that point, you are saying to yourself and to everybody else in the country, I don't just want you so-called darkies to die. I want to die too. Because there are white people that have been murdered by this bigotry as well, by our own government. There have been white people who have been murdered. There have been brown people who have been murdered. There are black people who have been murdered. And I've observed not only from gangstalking, but from this entire leaning towards more conservative politics, that really these are politics of death. This is about death. you know that your hatred has fucked up the world around you. And instead of being accountable, instead of saying, you know what, we need to rebuild from here, your fear, your shame, and even your primal response to guilt has made you not only destructive to every other group that is not you, it's also made you suicidal to your own group, to the point where you don't want to be here anymore. And your whole purpose for riling up as much hatred as you do, or for, utilizing your hatred, is so that people can do for you what you won't do for yourself. End it. That's what all of this is about. That's what all this racial instigation is about. That's what all these racial wars are about. That's what all these sex wars are about. Instead of being honest about how benefiting from specific privilege has harmed everybody, including yourself, instead of wanting to do the work that it takes to build a world where everybody can live on it, you would rather, in the face of being confronted, say, fuck this, I want to die. Fuck this, I want to die. I don't just want black people to die. I don't just want brown people to die. I definitely want you guys to die, but I want to die too. And yes, I want women to die, but I want to die too. Yes, I want, queer people and trans people to die, but I want to die as well. I want to be annihilated. I don't want to be here anymore. And until you give me what I want, I am going to burn everything down. That is what being a perp for gangstalking means. That is what being a racist means. That is what being a conservative means. I am so angry, I can't take it anymore. And I will be as violent as I need to be so that somebody will come along and do what I don't have the guts to do. That is the kind of self-hate, that is the kind of hatred that culls whole societies of people over and over again. It's that type of hatred. And it's that type of hatred that got Reform in power, in spite of the fact that Nigel Farage already fucked this country over. And again, the people who voted for him can fool themselves all they want. They don't want to live. They want to fucking die. That's the only way that they're going to feel safe, is if somebody puts them out of their misery. But hear what? The people that they hate so much don't want to do that. And now we have to get to the truth of why black and brown communities don't seem to be as motivated, and especially not the black community, as the white community. We have to examine why black bigots and brown bigots are not as motivated as white bigots. And the truth of the matter is this: after everything that black people have gone through, and even that brown people have gone through, the hate just isn't there. That's the truth. You're out here thinking that we don't unite on anything, or we don't, we don't support each other in these matters because we're incompetent, or because we're lazy, or because it's got nothing to do with any of that. There is nothing that motivates the human spirit more than hatred. We just don't have that level of hatred in us. That's why we're not as motivated. It's got nothing to do with, us being less skilled or less competent or anything like that. We are just less hateful. There's just less hate. The further you go down the marginalization ladder, is the lower the hate levels get. Even when we hate, it will never match up to the hatred actually aimed at us. That's why. That's why we're not getting as far as we should. It's not because we don't love each other. It's because we do. We love each other enough to let each other be who we are. We talk shit, but at the end of it, like we just don't have that hatred as motivation. We just don't have it in us. That's the fucking truth. And we got plenty of black bigots here. We got plenty of bigots against the queer community and against mental health people. I've been a victim of that. We've got plenty of bigots on our side. But the hatred that we have is just not on the same level. That's why we don't have the resources. That's why we don't have that fear of losing, keeping a, there are only like a handful of us that have that fear of losing, keeping us up at night. There's only a handful of us that are more motivated by the fear of losing than than actually gaining something. That's why. You want to know the reason? There it is. Lack of the hatred just isn't fucking there. That's what's causing all this. And ironically, it's the same abuse and the systemic oppression that we're going through that is keeping that hatred muted. Keeping that hatred muted, keeping that hatred down. The same tactics that privileged people and perps rely on to try to instigate us, to try to get us riled up. It only works for so long. It only works for so long. And the idea was to make us hate like they do. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. We will never hate like they do. We just don't have it in us. We hate, sure. Not on the same level, though. Nowhere near on the same level. And speaking of which, there has been this really pathetic campaign to try to make me afraid of the gangstalkers. I'm walking around, calm, seemingly unbothered, and truth be told, like even within my body, even within my spirit, like I feel very relaxed. I feel very calm a lot of the time. And I do get annoyed by some of the gangstalkers' tactics. I'm not saying that I don't, but there's clearly a vibe there. There's clearly a vibe of me accepting my situation. And it's making the gangstalkers afraid, because if I'm accepting my situation for what it is, it means they have to accept their situation for what it is. And that scares them. The thing that I have avoided saying this entire time is that when gangstalkers copy what you do and try to control your behavior through copying what you do, that's called destiny swapping. That's what they've been doing this entire time. Only it didn't work for them how they thought it would. Destiny swapping with me. Them persecuting me didn't work for them how they thought it would. They thought it would make me a terrified wreck. It's like they get God knows how many people copying my hair, my clothes, the colors I wear. And then what they'll do is they'll throw in somebody who's been sectioned and who's been injected, or they'll throw in someone who's homeless, or they'll throw in someone. It's like they will have like groups of perps like copying what I do and copying everything that I say, and and then they'll throw in somebody who has been injected, and and I thought they were doing this to get me afraid, but actually what they're trying to do is they're trying to destiny swap with me and then change it up so that they can get the response that they want from me. And I feel like they've used hypnotic suggestion as well. That's another thing that I think they've used through V2K, but that's another matter. The point is, they want me to be afraid. What they don't understand is that they've actually gotten what they wanted. I'm afraid all the time. I'm angry all the time. I am ashamed. No, I'm not ashamed. I can't even lie. I can't even lie. I cannot even lie. The shame is just not there in the way that it used to. I can't even lie like that. The shame isn't there the way it used to be. Nowhere near. Not ashamed at all. Guilt is there, for how I've allowed my torture to, inflict harm on people who didn't deserve it. I have guilt over that. But yeah, I'm afraid and angry all the time. But this is the thing. the first thing is that I accept my fear and I accept my anger. Because where the fear and anger of gang stalkers and of bigoted people have made them double down to the point of self-destruction, it's done the opposite with me. When I get scared or when I get angry, I get motivated. There are a couple of gang stalkers who have noticed that, but the problem is that they thought that I would be motivated towards doing what they wanted me to do. So the gang stalkers weren't wrong in thinking that fear and anger would motivate me. What they were wrong about is that they thought it would motivate me towards being what they wanted me to be. But actually, the only thing that it's motivated me to do is to double down on my truth and to double down helping as many people as I can in whatever way I can, considering that I'm by myself. So all the fear and anger has done has made me more motivated towards speaking truth and towards exposing gang stalking and exposing bigotry exactly for what it is. That is all the fear and anger has motivated me to do. That's all it keeps motivating me to do. Which is why I kind of find it surprising that gang stalkers honestly haven't figured this one out. Like, if all fear and anger has done is made gang stalkers double down in their cruelty and made them do even more disgusting things and say even more disgusting things and do and say even more things that are humiliating, not to me, to themselves, then why would fear and anger not make me double down in my truth? I'm not understanding that. That's exactly what I'm pointing out. Why wouldn't it make me double down in telling the truth? Why wouldn't it make me double down in wanting to help people? Why would it not make me double down in speaking up for Black people, in speaking up for brown people, in speaking up for vulnerable white people? Why would it not make me double down in speaking up for TIs and speaking up for trafficking and abuse victims, in speaking up for even people that I might have, well, not even might have, that I've hurt in the past, speaking up for them in indirect ways? Why would the fear and anger make me not do that? Why would the fear and anger make me not double down in speaking up for trans people, in doing all the things that I can possibly do by myself that allows me to do what I need to do for as long as I can do it in order to help people? Why would fear and anger not make me do that? If it's who I am, if it's truly who I am to defend the underdog and to preserve myself at all costs and to look deep into a situation so that I'm not fooled by it, then why the fuck would that change when fear and hatred and anger enter the equation? Why would that change? And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not ashamed of myself as I used to be. When I was younger, I was afraid to be afraid. And I was angry at feeling angry. And it made me do desperate things. And even though I'm not as ashamed now as I was then, I recognize my behavior as a young person for what it was. I accept it. At the same time, because I'm no longer afraid to be afraid, and I'm no longer angry at being angry all the time, I've accepted it. It's made me less ashamed of doubling down now. So now I'm not ashamed to double down. I'm not ashamed of any of it because it reveals who I am as a person. Well, it reveals the nucleus of who I am as a person. It doesn't reveal my potential. My mother's partner, who's an abusive piece of shit, he used to say that getting people angry would reveal who people are. My evolution of that is that it doesn't necessarily reveal who people are. I would say that fear and anger reveals who people are before they reach their potential. And with gang stalking, doing everything it can to make me afraid and make me angry, the nucleus of who I am is a fucking powerhouse. The nucleus of who I am is a powerhouse. You take everything from me. You make me lose everything that I want. What kind of person do I turn into? A fucking powerhouse. I'm the kind of person who can lose everything, including her life. And her name will be written in the fucking stars. Me and the rest of these bitches are not the same. I have won every single battle I have lost. And that will continue. I'm working with the same shit that like, you know, maybe gang stalkers have different circumstances to me. But as a human being, I'm working with the same emotions that they got. They've tried to destiny swap with me, but one thing they're about to find out, if they haven't found out already, is that me and them are not the same. We're not the same at all. I have won every battle. Let's be clear. I'm going to reiterate that again so that you guys understand. I have won every battle I've lost. That's why we're in a situation where it doesn't matter what the gang stalkers do. I'm the one people are afraid of. I don't have no fucking electronic weaponry. In fact, I've been debilitated with them. Attempts are, you know, not even attempts are made on my life with them. Like, I'm slowly being killed with them. I don't have no weapons on me. And I have weapons on me like that. I don't have, you know, armies of people going down on me and telling me that I'm the best thing since sliced bread as I target and terrorize other people. I don't have that. But you strip everything away from me and you reveal me to be the kind of person who doesn't need that. And as a gang stalker, that's where your attempted spirits destiny swapping gets you. We might be working with the same materials, but we're not built the same way. And it's as simple as that. And like I said, I accept that this is a murder. It might not be a murder that's, you know, quick or anything, but I've been attacked in my kidneys. I'm attacked in my kidneys almost every day. I'm attacked in my heart almost every day. I'm attacked in my womb almost every day, on my pelvic floor, hips. Something's got to give. I'm attacked in my nervous system, parts of my brain every day, like they're damaging my brain every single day. Something's got to give. I'm not fucking invincible. But if I've lost every battle, if I've won every battle I've lost, imagine how much I win if I lose my fucking life. Again, we have the same materials, but we're not built the same. And everything that's been done to me is strengthening my legacy. It's not diminishing it. And that legacy is me exposing the truth, revealing the truth, so that people of future generations can be empowered. I'm just a little woman from England, all right? A little black woman from England, you understand? But my legacy is going to strengthen future generations of women just like me, you understand? And not even just women just like me. You're talking about poor white TIs, you're talking about brown TIs, black TIs. Me and my little Facebook views, me and my little YouTube views, me and my little, me and my little views are going to leave a powerful legacy that will only get stronger the closer I come to them gates. You understand? Perps will never get, they will never understand that I'm not built the same as them. They will never get it. They will never understand. They will always be incompetent and greedy and suicidal. just like the bigots in this country. And by the way, if you think that gangstalking has not facilitated right-wing politics coming into power, you're fucking deluded. Because the far right cannot exist. You know, the far right talks about deep state this, deep state that, deep state this. It can't exist without heavy-handed law enforcement. It cannot exist. It cannot thrive without oppression. Of course, gang stalking is going to come into that. Of course, law enforcement is going to come into that, and the annexation of resources are going to come into that. Get a fucking clue. Get a fucking clue. Get a clue by now, but the perps never will. They'll just deny that I was right, like they always do, or they'll turn around and say, "Oh, I don't care if you're right." Okay, well, we see the results of that. By your actions, you certainly won that argument. So for me, it's really that simple. The far right is on the rise everywhere, and gang stalking and the selfishness of people within the entertainment industry and this multi-level marketing that these people call the occult, that multi-level marketing of demon worship. Oh, I know all about that. I know all about the fucking con, not only going on financially, but magically too. I know all about that shit. It's because of this multi-level marketing of finance and magic that we're looking down the face of fascism right now. It's because of the incompetence and greed of leadership that we're looking at what we're looking at right now. And that's it. And that's the truth. With me, it's every man for himself. There are people who are targeted individuals who understand me and hear me and know what time it is. And there are TIs who don't. And for the TIs who don't, I'm not wasting my energy for like everything, all the videos that I make, all the videos that I've been making are preaching to a choir that understands. Preaching to a congregation that have already decided that I wasn't lying about any of this. That's who I'm talking to. They've already decided that I'm not lying. How they respond differs, but the truth remains the same. Oh, I'm trying. You're just trying to scare people. No, just because you're scared of the consequences of your own fucking actions, don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. You made your bed, fucking lie in it. And lie in it knowing that you didn't just doom yourself, you doomed future generations with your greed, incompetence, and willful cruelty. You expect me, like a victim of your trafficking and your murder, to gentle parent you. Please be fucking serious. Please be serious. Oh, anyway, I want to go, but like something tells me that something tells me that I can't go just yet because there's something I've forgotten. I'm always forgetting something. Oh yeah, it was Beltane yesterday. Happy belated Beltane. And when it comes to my tarot readings and stuff like that, I'm actually going to take a break from doing anything public or private. Well, online readings I'm still going to do, but I'm going to take a break from everything to regroup because at the end of the day, I talked about getting your paperwork sorted just in case of worst case scenario. And I made a start on that, but I didn't really follow that through. So I've still got to complete that, and I've still got to make as many arrangements as possible to prepare for the eventual. You understand what I'm saying? Now, do I believe that I'm going to die soon? No, I don't believe that, because at the end of the day, there are gangstalkers there are TIs who have been at death's door, and gangstalkers have revived them. So do I really believe that I'm on some accelerated program? No, I don't. But I'm making preparations just in case. Because not only do gangstalkers like to smear your name in death, they also like to annex people's resources. Even when you're a poor little person on benefits or whatever, they still want to annex your resources after death. You all know this. So I'm going to make preparations. So, yeah, man. That pretty much sums it up. And now I gotta go. Peace and blessings. I love you guys so much. And for those of you who are watching Empress Justice Tarot and Empress Justice Astrology, because of the problems that I've had with reception over here in London, the uploads are taking for fucking ever, but I'm getting them sorted. Please be patient. The fucking first quarter moon is already approaching, and I'm still on the new moon. That's how problematic this shit is. Now do you see why I need a break? Although, truth be told, gang stalking can fuck with your reception and stuff like that anyway, so. But anyway, I've got to take a break to get my shit together. For real. But anyway, I love you guys so much. And to my fellow TIs who are serious, please let me know how you guys are doing. I always want to hear from you. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye bye, my darlings.